Welcome back to the 8th annual Halloween special. Every year I try to find a Hilariocity to include in the special. And this year I found one. It stars Chuck Norris, and it's called Hellbound. It came out in 1994 and was his last film with Cannon. They made a ton of movies together, and they were all pretty much the same movie. But Hellbound is different. Hellbound is a horror film starring Chuck Norris, which didn't happen that much. You could say that Silent Rage is technically a horror movie in a way. A lot of people compare that movie to Chuck Norris versus a Michael Myers, sort of. But this is by far his biggest foray into the horror genre. All I have to say is that in this film, Chuck Norris fights with his fists an emissary of Satan. Let's talk about Hellbound.
Who's your supplier?
You can't do this, you're a cop!
Yeah? Watch this, you little piece of shit.
Shut up! Don't shoot him, man, don't shoot him!
Tough as nails Chicago cop Frank Shatter encounters Satan's emissary, Prositanos, and he must stop him from his demonic killing spree. Chuck Norris, of course, rose to fame fighting Bruce Lee in The Way of the Dragon. It's a pretty entertaining fight. Bruce Lee rips off a chunk of Chuck Norris's chest hair. And after that, he began to star in a lot of movies. Many of them were extremely similar, and he played Chicago cops quite often. Eventually, Walker, Texas Ranger came along, and he roundhouse kicked just about everything in existence. But somewhere in the mid-2000s, Chuck Norris became very self-aware. He started to enjoy laughing at some of his performances, and he didn't take himself too seriously anymore. Some of this could be due to Conan O'Brien. I remember being very excited back in the mid-2000s watching Conan on late night when he would bring out the Walker Texas Ranger lever. After NBC merged with Universal, Conan could show clips from Walker Texas Ranger out of context for free, which is how we got gems like this.
So here it is. The one Walker clip we've never shown. Once you see it, you'll understand why.
And how you doing, little partner?
Fine. And it's little visitor now. Attaboyoli's how you say it in Cherokee.
Oh, well, pardon my French, but I'll be damned.
Walker told me I had AIDS.
After that, he appeared in films like Dodgeball and became very self-aware. Then came the Chuck Norris memes, and the rest is history. Hellbound came before the self-aware Chuck Norris, and so this movie is gold. The film opens with a Star Wars opening crawl featuring rip-off Jerry Goldsmith Omen music. Here we meet a bunch of warriors from the Middle Ages who are attempting to seal Prositanos, this demonic emissary of Satan, away in a tomb. And they are successful. But these fight scenes, I have to talk about them. Look at them. Just a year later, Braveheart came out. I just want to give you that point of reference to think about while you look at this. And what the fuck is this thing? Like, I don't even know what's happening. I should also say this film is directed by Aaron Norris. That's right, Chuck Norris's brother. They made a lot of films together, including Top Dog. Yeah, they made that. I have to talk about the acting in this opening sequence because it's certainly not ideal.
Damn you, spawn of Satan!
Take that, you winged spawn of Satan!
But Prositanos and his frog eyes are trying to kill a baby because I guess that'll, bring about the apocalypse, but they don't, he doesn't get to do it because they seal him up. But later, in 1951, I guess, some people find him, and he's freed. So that sucks. Good thing Chuck Norris is in this movie, though.
Then hit me. Hey, come on. Hit me, tough guy. Come on, let's see how tough you really are. You call that a hit? That's a hit.
This movie certainly wasn't a hit, though. In fact, I don't even think it was entirely released in theaters. According to IMDb, it had an LA premiere and then went straight to video in the United States. So now Positanos is in Chicago and he's looking for something. If he kills the right people and he gets the right things together, he will bring about the apocalypse. But a rabbi knows who he is and tries to murder him.
Where are you going, Rabbi?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is going to be good.
Time for you to leave.
She just landed right on Chuck Norris's car. I mean, that is storytelling. That is a clean, tight fucking script, man. Bad guy throws woman out of window. Woman lands on hero's car. Now they're in it. That's how you write. So Chuck has his first little scuffle with Positanos, and it goes about how you would expect it to go.
Police. Step out into the light.
Leave now, and I'll let you live.
You're all hard, buddy.
Speaking of hearts, yeah.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Chuck's partner, Jackson. This is a buddy cop movie, actually. Chuck Norris made a buddy cop movie with a demon, and the dialogue is beautiful.
Oh, shit! His heart's gone!
No, it isn't. It's right there.
One of the worst aspects of low-budget action films out of this era, but especially of canon films, was the treatment of women in the scripts. They aren't viewed as equals, that's for sure. As soon as they meet Leslie, played by Sheree J. Wilson, who later starred on Walker, Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris, there's a moment that is so hilariously tone-deaf, I have to talk about it.
This looks like the crown of the scepter of Positanos.
Prosa who?
Positanos is a mythological being who was present in many of the legends and stories of some Middle Eastern civilizations, before and during the time of the Crusades.
And you just happen to know all this?
No, Professor Lockley has been studying these myths for quite some time.
They completely doubt that she might have any knowledge of this thing. They're coming to her in a museum for help, and they have to ask, like, how do you know these things? And she has to tell them to wait for the professor to come back. It's like, you don't even know this lady. Why can't she know about this stuff? But the film has to remind us that it is in fact a horror film, so Positanos shows back up to kill a priest. But these horrific murders that the demon is committing force Chuck Norris and his partner to go to Jerusalem to investigate. And they encounter the most risk-taking driver ever, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog music. Once they arrive here, a running gag starts throughout this film that is easily the most hilarious aspect of this movie. It doesn't work at all. The joke is horrible, but it really makes our hero look like a gigantic fucking asshole. They start this running joke that Chuck Norris doesn't let his partner eat. In fact, he doesn't even give him food money.
And I'm so damn hungry, man, I could eat the south end of a northbound skunk.
You ate on the plane.
Shadow, do you realize how long ago that was?
They came there on a plane and they've spent a night there, and now it's the next day. And he's asking for food. He's saying he's fucking hungry. So Norris begrudgingly gives him some money to go get himself some food, but a kid steals it. Then Chuck Norris tracks down the kid and takes his partner's money back, but doesn't tell his partner that he got his money back. And he still doesn't let him eat. This continues for the rest of the movie. He does not let the man eat. You're overseas, you're investigating murders. You should probably fucking eat something. But this guy does not get food. Ever. Chuck Norris is a giant dick in this movie. I mean, can you imagine Frank Shatter's reputation as a police officer? Whenever he gets assigned a new partner, they're probably like, I don't want to work with Shatter. He doesn't let his partners fucking eat.
You know, I like to eat every day or so. Anything wrong with that? Huh?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, all right.
Too bad about your money, though.
This poor guy is so hungry, he's got to eat scraps. So somehow they run into the exact same woman from Chicago here in Jerusalem, and they still want to bone each other for some reason, even though they have shared not one moment of spark, not 1 ounce of chemistry. That's just what the script wants to happen. And here we notice that someone is following them and staring at them and staring and staring and staring and fucking staring. Shit. Here we learn that professor that apparently knows way more than Leslie is actually Prositanos. Earlier he was in Chicago when he ripped a guy's heart out. Then he was in Italy on a train when he killed that priest. And now he's in Jerusalem. Can he teleport? Okay, like, if he can teleport, fine. Explain that shit. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Chuck Norris has to fight a bunch of guys. And Prositanos murders a guy who fails him. Next, the film randomly introduces wipe transitions. This hasn't happened yet, and that combined with the opening Star Wars crawl, I can only assume that the people who work at Canon just thought Star Wars. That's all they thought, and they just did it. And I must remind you that his partner is still fucking hungry.
Look, Shatter, I'm not going anywhere until I get something to eat. Now.
He hasn't eaten in like 3 days. He is going to die, Chuck Norris! Feed him, goddammit! What the fuck?
Oh, Shatter, am I starving? Oh, boy.
El Jazar. I wonder if that's a name or a place.
I don't know. All I know is I gotta get something to eat.
And he still does not eat.
Well, let's go.
Hey, Shatter, what about our food?
Later.
In the following scene, Frank Shatter has to ask questions that lead to more questions. And more questions.
Who is this servant of Satan or Prositanos or whatever you want to call him? What does all this have to do with the scepter? Who are you talking about?
Leave! 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 Leave!
His character in this film is not a character. It is Chuck Norris walking around, punching and kicking people and asking questions. Chuck Norris doesn't ask questions. Questions ask Chuck Norris.
If it's a myth, why do we have this? Well, where's the rest of this scepter? So you mean this is one of the 9 pieces? Do you know where I found this?
Who was in the room with you and Rabbi Schindler? Who was it that ripped the heart right out of his chest?
And next, there's just a giant pile of hilarious quotes. I really don't know what to say about them. It's best if I just show them to you.
Either this guy is nuttier than a Snickers, or there's some real heavy shit going down. I can't deal with this devil shit. Hey, how about we go back to Chicago and play good cop, bad cop with our pimps and hookers? So what the hell are we breaking into a police station for, huh?
He needs to eat, Frank. Feed him. So their investigation is not turning up any leads, and I can only imagine it's because one of them is actually starving to death. So they decide to break into the local police department and look through the files, while Chuck Norris chokeholds a guard. Like, what are they doing? What's happening? Frank Shatter is the worst cop in film history. He doesn't give his partners food money. He makes sure that if there is food money, he takes it away from them, and he chokeholds innocent policemen. He's a great guy. But of course, Leslie becomes a damsel in distress. Prositanos has her tied up at his weird, hellish castle, so Frank and Jackson decide to go save her. Now Chuck Norris gets to beat up a bunch of Satan's emissaries, which of course had to happen. Even though this is a horror movie, it's like if you put Chuck Norris in a movie for a real role, he's gotta beat people up, otherwise you'd be disappointed. Although I wish that he in some way struggled through this scene. I don't think he actually gets hit even once. I think he's just perfect punching, kicking machine throughout the whole scene. There's like no tension there. He doesn't show a hint of vulnerability in this movie. He did in earlier films like Silent Rage, but here, he's just perfect.
Eat this.
And here's where the staring man comes back to collect pieces of the broken scepter, and some voiceover tells us that I guess he's involved in protecting it in some way. I wish that he had protected it before Armageddon almost happened. He kind of sucks at his job. He just stared at everybody and then collected some pieces. He did nothing. I have no idea why that character is in this movie. You could remove him entirely from the film. It would change nothing. So at the very end of the film, everyone's at the airport. People are happy. They're going to go back to Chicago. Chuck Norris winks at this woman, so I guess you know what they're going to do as soon as they get home. And the kid steals Jackson's wallet again. And the film ends. Do you know what that means? Jackson never fucking ate. The man needed to eat, Chuck Norris. What the fuck? This dude didn't eat for a week. I actually don't think Prositanos is the demon in the film. I think Jackson just might be Satan's emissary because he should be starving to death, but he's fine. Wow.
Eat this. Eat this.
Why don't you just cut my nuts off with a dull-ass butter knife?
Hellbound is so bad, but man, it's entertaining. It's a lot of fun to watch. If you've never seen the film, maybe get some friends together and enjoy it this Halloween. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for continuing to watch the 8th annual Halloween special. I'll have more Hilariocities coming for you very soon, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.
Yeah, I just never thought cops took their cases so personally.
You don't know the same cops I do.
What are you doing?
Plane crashed here.